Hey guys, it's me, Last Son. Welcome back to day 7 of the Dev Journal for TEW 9. Today, we're going to talk about a couple different things. It looks to be a little bit of a shorter feature day, but that's okay. First thing on the list is enhanced eras. So the eras feature has now been beefed up to offer a much finer degree of control over a lot of the figures that's used behind the scenes. So this is going to cover like wage demands, sponsorship, attendance, TV, pay-per-view viewership, revenue from those events, merchandise, marketing, admin, miscellaneous, show costs, and how much they cost. For each of those, you can set a percentage between 1% and 500. 100% is being the default level. So if you set pay-per-view revenue to just 1%, then whenever a event is on pay-per-view, the revenue is calculated, only 1% of that will be used under what would be normal. So 100% would be normal. You only get 1% of that during that time. 500% would make it 5 times greater than normal. So they're hoping this gives database makers a lot more control over how the game runs and can allow historical and fantasy scenarios to be constructed. So that means if you're trying to play back in the 50s, you're not going to be making the same kind of amount of money that you're going to make today, which is really good. I hope it's easy to implement. That way the database makers can put that in and make their mods that much more realistic and have a lot of realism in their mods. To go along with that, the error can now also be used to set whether written contracts are enabled or disabled. So if they're disabled, they can't be offered at all. So in the days of the territories, written contracts weren't even a thing. You were paid per appearance, and now that'll reflect that in the game now, in the mod that you make. So I think that's another big change. Is it like earth-shattering changes? No, but for somebody it might be. I think it's great that they're trying to address these things and that they're at a point with their development of their game that they can add these types of things in. I think that's pretty cool. New battle royals. So a number of new battle royal configurations have been added. So any number of competitors between 10 and 60 can now be booked. Automatic renegotiations. So apparently there was a loophole that's existed for a while that when a worker retires or comes out of retirement, the game automatically triggers a limited renegotiation process for each of his or her contracts. This prevents the situation now where the worker's wage and or primary usage are set to a value that's no longer appropriate to their status, but does so without requiring a whole new set of negotiations to take place to make things right. These automatic renegotiations happen on the same day and are dealt with in one go rather than needing to wait for offers to go back and forth, and don't allow others to come in and make steals. That's really good. So here's the example. You lock down your main star on a $100,000 a month contract, and he retires a few weeks later to suddenly become your color commentator. You're not stuck with a vastly overpriced broadcaster. Instead, you'll get to renegotiate for a fairer amount, or you can just release them without incurring a huge wage bill. Excellent. This is really a cool feature. This will make it to where we won't feel, leery about offering those big contracts to our stars and fears as if they're going to retire soon. Because if they do, we can renegotiate. Excellent. Historical rosters and champions. In addition, that's been very popular with the testers. The alumni section from a company's profile now has a second section where you can pick a specific historical date if you do so, it'll show you who the roster was, the champions were on that date, by using the dates contained within the employment and title histories to calculate it, as well as it being an interesting take to go down memory lane. This is also a secondary benefit for database makers, as that means that there's an easy way to compare and check historical data. I think this would be really nice for those historical database makers, and it may bring people into the game that wants to make a certain historical database, make it very historically accurate. So excellent change. Wrestling school affiliations. I'm pretty excited about this one. Companies can now affiliate themselves with wrestling schools. So this will take the form of them paying part of the school's running costs in return for getting first refusal over the graduates. This just adds a touch of realism and is useful for companies who may not have the funds to actually open their own facility. So like AEW, they use the Nightmare Factory. Nightmare Factory may use other, ship to other people, their graduates as well. Everybody gets a certain, pecking order in real life, where this company gets, like, because they pay more of the fees of the school, they can get first pick of the graduates, and then it goes to the next. I don't know if that's how this will work, but this is really awesome. That way, you don't have the money to pay for a huge facility and run that facility. It may be cheaper to just go to a wrestling school nearby and pay their fees and get the graduates. I love this addition. So move descriptions. Wrestling moves, including tag team finishers, can now have an optional short text description attached to them. This displays when viewing the move and game. This is particularly useful for fantasy databases and for wrestlers who have not achieved much fame, as it saves having to use a biography and that space that's in your biography to explain what a move is. And also, yes, before I guess anybody would ask, they answered yes. The default database does have this filled in so that people no longer have to open up Wrestling Spirit to find out what moves are meant to be. And now the last thing is team and client relationships. As they are likely to spend more time together than normal, tag team partners and manager-client duos are much more likely now to develop personal relationships, either good or bad, over time when they are in the same backstage environment. This adds a little bit more realism to the game world. So, all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way this game's going and the way it sounds. Can't wait till the 27th when the beta drops to get our hands on it, see this in action. I have a feeling the database modders are going to be, that beta time coming out in full throttle, trying to get a handle on the, how to create databases. I have a feeling earlier I thought it might take a longer time because of the amount of work. I don't know if it's going to take a huge amount of time. Some of these guys might have this, down. Some of them might be testers. I'm hoping. I don't have any insider knowledge, but I'm hoping they're testers. And they might be testing this and seeing the inner workings and how they're going to, make a database. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm Last Sun, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. Leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. And as always, I will see you guys tomorrow for our next video, the TEW IX Dev Journal. Have a wonderful day.